that knows my father very well. In fact, he was supposed to be on this panel and he couldn't make it. He is back in India currently. I think I'll just spend the next 6-7 minutes talking about Sabinsa, the company, a little bit, and just how he developed it. Sabinsa today is your basic raw material supplier. If you walked into Vitamin Shop or GNC and picked up a bottle, if it has a herbal ingredient, we were probably the supplier for that ingredient. But that was no easy road to get to where we are today. There's a lot of other things Sabinsa does. Back in the early 70s, my father took a decision after getting his pharmacy degree to come to the United States, where at that time a lot of his friends, even close relatives, were going over to Saudi or to Kuwait or some other places. He decided to make the long haul and come to the US. And he came, and he tells me the story that he came with $8 in his pocket. And I could probably just sum up by saying he won't be sad if he left with more than $8 in his pocket. But in the meantime, all the things he's done. He came here, and his friend who was supposed to pick him up never did. And so that $8, pretty much went into taxi money. But he found himself. He had a pharmacy degree, so he worked hard. Many people know his background, but he did odd little jobs to get to where he is, and he finally, he went to school at night and he worked during the day. He did get his PhD from St. John's, so he went on to work for some of the top pharmaceutical companies. The very last one he worked at, right before he opened Sabinsa, was Pfizer. Although I wish that he kept some of the stocks. But he left Pfizer because there was a ceiling for him as an Indian in that company. And he really felt that every other company he would have worked at, he would have hit that ceiling. There was just a place for an Indian, and that was it. Companies at that time didn't really, they promoted people that were underneath. And he said, well, I don't want to deal with that. I want to kind of make it out on my own. At that time, he had to feed me, and he had to feed 2 of my older sisters, and of course his wife. But he took a big leap of faith, and he started Sabinsa. And it absolutely failed, because this is one of the reasons why we remained private. He went into partnership, and he was cheated, his money was taken. And my father's a scientist, so he doesn't really know the commercial aspects of business. He tried his best, and it was a complete failure. Well, he started up again, and he started up on what he knew best, and he knew chemicals pretty well. And I almost attribute, the whole rationale for outsourcing to him, because he just knew where to get these chemicals from India, bring it into the United States, and give it to, Bob, who wanted it here. And that's what he did. And then ultimately, there was a couple of companies in Utah that asked him for herbal ingredients. These were things that were so well known to him, but he didn't think anybody would want it. So, you can always see the path that changed for us as a company. And